Hi girls, we're at the end of the term. A good time to think about where we are in our study of the Gospel of Matthew. We're in chapter 10 of 28 chapters, and Matthew's divided into 5 main sections, and we're finishing off number 2. Let's recap briefly. In chapters 1 to 3, we've seen Jesus revealed as the Messiah King, the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecy. In chapters 4 to 7, we've seen God's kingdom being announced and how, through Jesus, God's rule and reign over all of creation has begun to be restored and will be completed when Jesus returns in the future. We've also read Jesus' first block of teaching, the Sermon on the Mount, where he explains what life looks like in God's kingdom and how to live in this new way. Jesus is claimed to be God. And in chapters 8 to 9, his claim is realized in what he does. He brings the power of God's kingdom into reality in the daily lives of hurting and broken people. Jesus reveals his authority and power over the physical and non-physical world. In chapter 9 last week, Jesus' final words to his disciples showed great compassion for the harassed, helpless humanity ahead of him. He urged the disciples to pray that God would send out laborers into the harvest to spread his gospel message. And this week in chapter 10, it's as if Jesus answers his own prayer. In the second block of his teaching, we see him preparing his disciples, his apostles, to be the necessary laborers who will go out, who will be sent. Now, 3 things stand out about them. Number 1, enough as disciples. Number 2, enough for mission. And number 3, enough for circumstances. Number 1, enough as disciples. Matthew lists the names of Jesus' 12 disciples, and the number 12 would have been significant to Jews in Jesus' time. Israel consisted of 12 tribes, and Matthew shows how the 12 disciples are a sign that God is restoring Israel. He's doing something new, and these 12 men are part of the way that he's doing it. So, who were they? Well, not people that you would have expected to be disciples. They were a really diverse bunch of personalities from a variety of backgrounds, and many would not typically have mixed with each other. So, for example, we have Peter, James, John, and Andrew, uneducated fishermen who normally wouldn't have been in contact with someone like Bartholomew, an educated man of royal blood. Some disciples would have clashed. Matthew and Simon the Zealot. Matthew, previously a tax collector, was in cahoots with the Romans, and Simon would have hated him because he hated the Romans and anyone associated with them. So, what made each person enough as Jesus' disciple, and what united them? Well, Jesus chose them, just as they were, imperfect, warts and all, and he valued each of these ordinary men who believed in him, trusted and prioritized him, followed him faithfully, learned from him, and allowed themselves to be transformed by his Spirit. Number 2, enough for mission. Jesus equipped his disciples for mission. He gave them his authority and power, enabling them by the Spirit to do what he was doing, to proclaim the gospel, announce the new way of life in God's kingdom, to heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, and drive out demonic spirits. Jesus sent his apostles out in pairs to mutually support one another and encourage each other. And rather than being self-reliant, he taught them to trust God for their physical needs daily. He clarified their mission focus: go to the Jews. Now, it wasn't that he was ignoring the Gentiles, but mission to them was important, of course. However, if he and his followers had taken the gospel to Gentiles first, Jews wouldn't have paid any attention. The gospel message would have been seen as a religion for these pagans, these unclean people, and not as God fulfilling his promises to Israel. Number 3, enough for circumstances. Jesus warned his apostles what to expect and as they went out and how to respond. People might receive or reject their words, and since Jesus had already and would continue to experience opposition, they should anticipate the same. Jesus' kingdom message and this new way of being God's people was absolutely radical, particularly for Jews, and so division in families could be expected. But no matter how difficult the circumstances, the disciples would be enough. Jesus repeatedly urged them not to be afraid because God would help them. By his Spirit, he would speak through them and supply power enough for them to boldly stand for his truth and stand against possible persecution even. They could be confident that God would be at work and he would see and acknowledge and reward them for their self-sacrifice for his sake. Now, what's in Matthew chapter 10 for us girls? Well, just like the original 12, we too are Jesus' disciples, his apostles, sent out to spread his good news to the people around us in a variety of circumstances, the ones in which God has placed us. Some are extremely difficult, some are less so. And girls, we are enough. Despite our imperfections and our weaknesses as individuals and as a believing community, we are enough. Enough for mission, enough for our circumstances. We might doubt ourselves, we might feel anxious at times, but God always gives us enough. He always equips us by his Spirit for what's needed, and we can fully trust him. So let's be encouraged today to simply go, to witness to the truth of the gospel in who we are, in how we live, in what we say, and let's be at ease to leave the outcome and the responses by others completely in God's hands.